Howdy. Well, um, so that was like 2 nights in a row where I woke up at 1 o'clock. But I didn't. I woke up at 1 o'clock not because of a hate mare. I just woke up at 1 o'clock the next day. And last night I slept okay, but only for like 5 hours. I didn't have interrupted sleep. Uh, mm. but no, I'm not doing all that good. That's for sure. Because I got the dentist appointment coming up on Thursday, and I like, I just haven't been out of the house and done anything in like forever, so I don't know how my nerves will be frayed, if my nerves will be frayed, if I have to break into the Xanax, or, I don't know how I'll be. Uh, I haven't ventured out into the COVID world at all to see how people are, like, they got like a 6 foot rule or how to react or anything like that. And two major things happened, which I would consider them major things. I would consider this thing on my face a major thing because I don't know what the hell that's about. Uh, I don't even know what it was, but left a hell of a big mark. But I had like some sort of weird breakout on a beautiful face, and that wasn't even like anything I've ever had before. I don't even know what that was, but it was just weird. But it's rude to talk about such things, or the fact that I got gastrointestinal distress, or any of the other physical things that are, bothering me, which are manifold. It's much more interesting to talk about the fact that I actually talked to my brother, and he called me. I just wasn't into, like, yeah, he'll call me, but he said he had called me a couple of times before, but all my phone did was make a weird noise. And I'm like, okay. Nobody else has that problem. That is the shitty service of the company that you've been attached to for so long that you won't part company with them because you have a codependent, unhealthy relationship with your phone and internet and TV provider, which you need to cut that tie and just switch to somebody else. And he won't, you know, don't like any kind of change. It's upsetting to him, so he doesn't want to do that. Or, maybe it's depression. I don't know what it is, but why I thought that he would actually want to improve his life just by having me move in there for a couple of months and fix up his house, when he won't do something as simple as not pay. He's paying a ridiculous amount of money, way more than he has to be paying for a service that doesn't work right. And it's like there's all those companies out there competing for your dollar. So if you're like a first time customer, you get all these sweet ass deals. So, eventually, maybe within the next 5 years, he'll get around to switching to AT&T, which will give him a sweetheart deal. Like probably phone, internet, and TV for right around $100 for like a 2 year contract. And he doesn't even have like TiVo, so I don't know. I gotta ask him that. Does he just like sit through the commercials or what? I mean, he used to like back in the DVD recorder days, like record shows so he could fast forward the commercials, but he doesn't have a DVR or TiVo or anything with this internet service that he's paying too much for. But anyways, that's just a little background um, to the fact that I confronted him in a way. I said, man, I gotta, put that out there. I wasn't too happy about you saying yes and then saying no. I knew exactly what I meant. That's all I had to say. He said, well, I didn't say that. I told you I would think about it. I'm like, no, that's not what you told me. And I said, but I'm not going to argue about it, because once you get to that point where, you don't have a stenographer that say, let's look at the transcript and see who said what. Once you get to that point and it becomes a debate, there's no winning. because one person will just stick to their version of reality, and it's like then it becomes like a debate, and then the feelings get worse because you get angry in the debate over what was said and what wasn't said. And I can tell you exactly what was said. He said, "Is it going to help you out? Because I'll do it if it'll help you out." And I was like, "Yeah, it'll help me out." And then he started talking about clearing out the room that I was going to live in. So I don't know about you, but that sounds like a yes to me. I'll do it if it'll help you out. Yeah, it'll help me out. That sounds like we had an agreement. That's what was said. I know for a fact that that's what was said. And, but, he was like, "You told me to think about it." And I said, "Yeah, I told you to think about it." And then you gave me a yes. And then we talked about it a little bit. And I said, "Just take a couple days and think about it." Which by that I meant, you know, think about it in like that it's a good thing. Think about like the positives of it, but all he could think about was like the negative side. The psychologist guy that's sort of the caseworker that doesn't remember shit that I talk about and refer to as my real estate agent. Uh, he had a some sort of cognitive something. He had some kind of term for that kind of thing where you talk yourself into um, believing all the negative things that can happen from a situation, so you can't talk yourself out of it. So one of his deals was when he told me no after he told me yes was that I would just end up resenting, or he would just end up resenting me. And I'm like, I wish somebody would like crash with me if I had an extra room and give me $3,000 worth of rent, which would probably be what would happen because I'd be fixing the house up. And fix my place up so I could resent them. And then I talked to my cousin in Florida about it, and he's like, "I don't understand it." And I said, "Well, it's just the way he is." And I used that line about like, I don't know why, I wish somebody would come and, give me $3,000 for 3 months rent and then, fix up my house so I could take showers and have hot water, so I could resent them afterwards. It doesn't make any sense. But it might be actually a good thing because, I just need to break away from my family completely. And just, there's nothing but grief there. It hasn't always been like that. But since I've gotten like bad physically and got screwed up with the volume and, you know, life has gotten more complicated for me. um, Things have gotten worse. This is going to sound stupid, but when I was living on $422 in a shithole apartment where them guys were flooding my apartment because they were so cheap that they wouldn't pay for a plumber, and it was right next to a steel mill. Those were my salad days, man. Those were good times. And then I moved in with somebody for a while, and I can't talk too much about that, but things went really bad. You know, like finding large amounts of felony weight substances in your freezer bad when you want to get some waffles. That kind of bad. May have already talked about that. I don't know, but um, and then like after that, things, I moved in here and things were good here for a couple of years, and then things got really really bad here, as has already been chronicled ad nauseum. So that's pretty much all that's going on. It's like it's almost like you're getting gaslighted unintentionally. It's like somebody is offering you a different version of reality to fuck with your head. Like, but I know what I heard and I know what I said. So I'm pretty hard to gaslight. It's like the dude in the wheelchair used to do that shit all the time. Like I told you that before. Like when I first had like the major poison in the face beef with my landlord, and threats and lies were going back and forth. Um, I like talk. I gave him some free food, and he's like, he's like, well, I wish there was something I could do for you. And I was like, well, there is something. It's not that big a deal. I was like, I want to pay the landlord 4 months rent in advance, and I'd like you to give it to him. And it's like, I'll just put it in a bubble mailer and give it to you, and then call him up and or text him and tell him that you got it. He's like, okay, I'll do that. And then I talked to him like 2 weeks later, and he goes, I don't remember saying that. He was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You probably still got those meals that I gave you in your freezer. Yeah, you're just fucking with me. He do that like upon occasion. Now, it could be that he's taking a lot of medications and stuff because he's in a wheelchair and he abuses drugs on top of it. And it could be like he's not gaslighting me on purpose. Like he doesn't know what he's doing half the time, or he doesn't have a good memory, but I don't think so. He seems pretty sharp to me. So I think he just does that shit because he's evil and likes to fuck with people. So, um, yeah, but he ended up doing it, but he was like, I don't remember it. I have no idea what you're talking about, is what he said exactly. He said, I don't remember that, and I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, I was like surprised. It's like, it was only a couple of weeks ago, you know? And I don't, I just don't like to get into it with people as far as like, it's not that I'm like non-confrontational. I will confront you. But if I'm dealing with a situation where it's a he said, she said, and there's no transcript to refer to, and there's no third party that heard us, and there's, what's gonna happen? Is this gonna devolve into a dumb argument with one person expressing one version of reality and the other person expressing another version of reality, and nothing is gonna come from it? So I got my feelings out, you know, whether that has something to do with my face breaking out and having hate mirrors or whatever, or the realization that I'm going to be trapped here, and then the knowledge that I'm going to have to go through some more dental procedures, the nature of which I do not fully know yet. At some point, I'm going to have to address the fact that I don't really have very many chewing surfaces. So, thinking I was going to have an out, and then like I was hearing like little noises that sound like dripping up in the ceiling, and that's a constant threat. Is that like something will go wrong in the apartment, and I'll have to deal with that uh, Mr. Miller, who I despise, of course, and I'll have to have my space invaded. Like right now, he hasn't been inside the apartment in like forever, like 6 months. And I got all my stuff. It doesn't look like anybody lives in here, and it looks like whoever it does live in here is completely out of their mind. A possibility. But all my stuff is like jammed in one corner and piled up, and there's, it doesn't look like a regular living room at all. And then, it's a mess in here because I can't really walk too good, so and I'm in a lot of pain leg wise, so I'm not really into housework all that much. I will probably have to break down and clean my bathroom a little bit, no matter how bad it hurts. But that will be after I go to the dentist, because there's only so much funk a person can handle, and vileness. Even like I said, even a single heterosexual male, there's only so much vileness. Which reminds me briefly of a story where we went down to visit our cousins, my foster brother and me, in Florida, and their house was so funky, and we needed showers because we were in a car for like 19 hours because we drove down there from Ohio, and we looked we looked at it and were so appalled that the shower curtain had like 18 different. It probably had the cure for COVID-19 growing on it. Actually, it was there was all it was a whole petri dish of all kind of stuff going on. It was just nasty. So my foster brother was like, I'm not taking a shower in there. I don't give a damn. And then he's like, let's go to the dollar store. So we went down to the Florida dollar store and bought a bunch of cleaning supplies and a new shower curtain. And I think we threw out the old shower curtain, and they got really mad about it because um, they took it as an insult. But uh, my foster brother did not care. He wasn't going to shower there. It's like yeah, I'd rather I don't know swim in a sewer basically. Yeah, I'd rather face a firing squad than shower in there. That's how bad it was. But yeah, my bathroom is it's been neat and cleaned, and they got that new protocol where they're not allowed to do any housework with the aid workers, so I have to do it. I think I have the supplies to do it, and yeah, I think I got a mop. Pretty sure I got a mop. But even if I don't have a mop, I can figure something else out. Um, but anyways, that's not, the main thing I want to tell you is like I did talk to my brother, and it's like the same thing really with my sister is they want to have a debate. So I got my feelings out. That's fine. I talked to him a long time after that and just left it alone. I said I don't want to argue about it because he was like cool with that because he knows probably that he can't argue with me. It's not going to work. So I'm not somebody you want to argue with. Um, Not because of violence, because of this. But that's just being honest. That's not arrogance at all. I mean, that's just being honest. But yeah, it's the same thing with once it turns into a debate. I don't know what your experience is, but once it turns into a debate, it just doesn't go anywhere. It just doesn't go anywhere because you're not on the same page. You're reading out of a different novel and you know, complaining to each other about what's written on a page. One of you is reading War and Peace, and the other one is reading. Is it Lady Karenina? I wanted to stick with the Tolstoy theme. I don't know, but I don't really know Tolstoy. I don't even know if I've ever read any Tolstoy. I should have stuck to Dostoevsky. I've read Dostoevsky if I was going to do a Russian novel comparison. But it's basically like you're looking at the same thing and seeing different things. And, like, you're going to sit there and argue whether the sky is blue or orange. I mean, it's what it amounts to. There's really no point to it. I just expressed my displeasure, and you know, I didn't do any of that reasoning thing that, like, that would have helped you out. It would have helped me out. You don't owe me anything, but I have been very kind to you, and I've been like very supportive of you through the years. I only need like 3 months in a room that you already have, and that there's nothing in there but some tools. So I'm not really displacing any of it. You just have to give up a little of your privacy, and you would be paid handsomely for it for like 3 months. So, you know, the situation here is like super hot. It's like crazy hot. It got up over in the high 80s in May, which is crazy. It's going to get in the high 80s today. It's already like 82 out. It's going to get in the high 80s today, and it's going to be in the 80s tomorrow, and then in the 80s again Thursday, and then it's going to chill out. Now, if you're not near the Canadian border, an example of that is like the day that it was 85 is the same day on calendar wise where I was fishing and freezing my ass off so bad that when my dad showed up, uh, he knew where I was fishing at. He showed up in the truck, and he said, "How you doing?" I didn't waste no time. Even before he had walked down toward me in the rain, I like had all my gear packed up, and I said, "Here's how I'm doing. Let's get the fuck out of here." I'm freezing my ass off. That's how I'm doing. So it's like 48 degrees out and raining is a more common May 23rd temperature than 85 degrees, though I know it's not May 23rd. But anyways, there's no reason to make this a long, drawn out thing. It's already 20 minutes, I'm sure. Um, I have to let whatever's going on my face here heal up and not mess with it because that didn't work. And try to keep my head in a good place as far as going to the dentist. Should probably go outside and sit in the sun like later in the day. Go around the back there and sit in the sun briefly since I don't see the sun and it's super hot out. So um, just to do something different. It's good for your nervous system to get out and about. It chills you out. Stuff like when I take my morning walks, I always feel more relaxed, which I didn't do this morning. I didn't take no walk this morning because I had sleep disruptions, so I just set my alarm for 6 o'clock. And I listened to it for 2 full minutes before getting out of bed and turning it off, even though it's really fucking annoying. That's how tired I was. So hopefully no afternoon naps, and then I can wake up at 4 tomorrow and take a morning walk. But in the meantime, I should probably get outside just because a change of environment, even briefly, is just it's really good for you. Stuck inside, bad. Getting outside, good. But anyways, man, I'll check in probably after the dentist. There's really nothing going on particularly. So yeah. So I guess I'll see you then, and I hope you're doing good and life's treating you fair. Goodbye.